Okay, so we're moving on to the next segment. A little sad. It sounds like the audio was kind of broken in the previous section where I was exporting all the assets. So I might end up re-recording that and see what happens there. But that's quite a manual process. I mean, now I've already renamed everything, but I want to include that. And it's part of the learning process. So yeah, I basically have to restart OBS each time I want to like record each of these different segments. And this time I've got a fan going in the background because it's getting pretty toasty in here. Um, but yeah, I wanted to move on to the next segment, and this part we're actually going to upload all the assets into Webflow, as well as upload the fonts and then assign those directly within the style guide. Cool. So let's hop on over. Okay, so we've got, okay, I've already exported all the assets out. Let's grab that link. And I want to make sure I have all those fonts too here locally. Okay, so I'm going to go to my sites here, and I started a project. It's this Aviation Gin project over here. And I'm just going to open it up in the designer, and going to open up project settings over here. So this is based upon, there's a style guide template which Ryan Morrison built out, and I like starting all my projects with it. It just makes everything go a lot faster. But here within the project settings, what I did earlier on was I went to the fonts tab, and these are all the different fonts that we use within the site. I know it's a lot, so we'll probably end up deleting a few of these, probably like the SVG fonts. We don't need, usually I just need like the WAF and the WAF 2. So I'll probably, see, I'll just delete like all these other ones. So, but you can literally just like click and drag, like highlight all of your fonts and then drag them onto the upload button, and it'll upload the fonts directly right there, which is a pretty sweet feature. But let's go ahead and delete anything that's not a WAF or WAF2 font. Just delete these EOTs. Delete these TTFs, or maybe I like the TTFs usually for like an extra backup. But it's these SVG fonts that are so heavy. Let's delete like 514 kilobytes is super heavy. I don't need those. Usually, like I recommend uploading as many of the font file variants that you have on hand to make sure that it renders really well, but you don't want it to like way down your site, because then you'll have like a bit of a delay as far as like going into your site. So here we go. Just gonna refresh this really quick. So I have the project open here, still like the Figma file, because I'm going to reference this for the different fonts that we use throughout the site. So in this iteration, the hero section, this text is Lucida Grande. Did I already upload that font? I don't think I did. Okay, so yeah, let's upload Lucida Grande. So clicking upload here, and I'm just going to search for Lucida, this PC. Cool. See if I can find that. Let's actually go search for, wait, is Lucida a Google font? You can find out. Okay, it doesn't look like it. So in this instance, I'll usually like, oh, I don't want that font. Stop. Let's see, I'll look for, okay, Lucida Grande font WAF. So I'll go and look for that font. So here's that font. It's probably not actually the font face we're looking, or exact one, but here's that font file. Let's open up that zip, and looks like it's Lucida Grande bold, and this one is just the regular. So then I'll go over to Font Squirrel, and I use this app to just convert the fonts. So there's a generator, and we can upload the font directly in here. I need to download it first. Just drag that into my Aviation Gin project here. Upload that font. And I'll buy a license for this one later as well. It looks like it's a free font, but you should go hunting just to like figure that out. So optimal, click the S button, download your kit. So when I'm in this design phase, like I'll end up buying the font later on when I'm like testing everything out. Just make sure it works with the design, make sure we like it. Usually buy it thereafter, unless it is indeed like a free font face. Cool, let's see. Okay, yeah, I created that WAF font, so I can show how I can upload that. So I'm just gonna drag the WAF and the WAF to, and yeah, let's add the true type font too. Moving this inside of my master folder here. Just gonna drag this on that upload, and you'll see each of those pop up here. And it's just Cedar Grande. Gonna rename these to all match. Yeah. Just copying and pasting. And then you click upload, upload, upload. Cool. Now it's those fonts are uploaded, and I'm gonna refresh the designer over here. And cool, so we're gonna have a few different H1s based upon the designs, because in this project we have these two different ones. So this fly above the clouds. Is that how you spell clouds? Clouds. I think it's just, yeah, there's no E in there. I can fix that real quick. I'm sure someone noticed that. That's fine. It's all about the design in this phase. We already had all the content, and I think that we laid it out correctly. Yeah. Okay, so what I usually do is I'll go to like this H1 because I want to check what's this body font. That's the Lucida Grande. So I would go to the body element, style tab, go to all pages, and I'm going to switch this to that Lucida. Yeah, Lucida Grande. Yeah, it's a really nice font. But yeah, the 400 font weight, 14 pixels. I usually go with like a 1.6 EM for the font size. Sometimes smaller, sometimes bigger. Yeah, like that 1.6 or so. And looks like this has an H1 right there for typography. That had like the Ames, Century, Modern Bold, which we're gonna use a little bit later. Let's go with this Cedar Grande. I like that. Looks nice. And now for this H1, so we're gonna style the global H1 here. Let's go to all H1 headings, and we're gonna switch that to Lucida Grande, and it should be 400. Cool. What's the font size we're using here? It's like 64 pixels. It's gonna be pretty big in this page here. About like 1 M. I think, yeah, 84 pixels. Should look like that. Yeah. Let's say here is a headline. And I think that this was also in all caps. It's important to retain that part of the design. No special spacing or kerning between the fonts. Looks like it's just black. Not sure what that stroke is talking about exactly. Cool. And then this H2 here. So in this case, let me close this. This H2. This is an American original. It's challenging with like SEO. Like I usually want the only H1 on the page to like be the actual company name, like Aviation American Gin. So like this might end up being our H1 over here. And I might change this to like Aviation American Gin, fly above the clouds. So just be like some subtext here. And then these might end up being like small batch might be like an H2. The production would be an H2. Cocktails would be an H2. Yeah. This old Tom will be an H2. Cool. Just kind of like thinking through, you know, as I'm building out the style guide, what is everything going to be here. So in this case, I'll just keep this like as is with that H2. Probably be that Ames Century bold font, and probably go with like a 1.2 or 1.3 EM font size. Yeah, that'll work. So if we have like a subheading or H2 with a line break. Okay, cool. Still looking good. Now these H3s. It's probably going to be a Lucida Grande. Still going to be normal font weight. Yeah, probably be black. H3s. Still, or let's see, are there any smaller ones? Yeah, this one's pretty small. It's a small batch. Let's see if I zoom in on that. Let's grab that color. AC. That's fun. Let's make it that Ames Century. This color, I'm gonna add that to. It's like one of our global styles. Let's save. Cool. And this would be Lucida. I don't know if we're gonna go all the way down to H5s or H6. The paragraph's important here. So we've already styled that with like a global paragraphs element here. I don't think it's going to be that 3434 color. I think it's going to be more of like just black, which would be all the zeros. But this text here is like a 32, or it's 20 pixels and 32 there. Whereas in this section, what's this font size here? 16 pixels and 24 pixels for the line height. 16 pixels, let's see, 24 pixels. Just a little bit smaller. 1.6 EM, not pixels. I like that. Might stick with that. Sometimes, you know, when you're working on the web, it's going to be a little bit different. I still do my best to, you know, stay as close to the original design as possible. But sometimes, you know, you do have to make some adjustments on the fly. So it's something to like think about whenever you're working with a developer, like how they're making these decisions. So here's this buy button. Let's see, we've got some text in there, and the text is size 15. It's Carla font. I don't know if we have that uploaded. That might be a Google font. Let's see if we update all links. I don't think Carla is in here. Is that a Google font? Let's take a look. Carla. Yeah. Carla, and we just want the bold version of that. I've added in that Google font. It's going to do a quick save. You'll see the little check mark here. Saves just by pressing Control S. I'm gonna reload real quick and select this link, and I'm gonna style all links to have that Carla font. And I think it's like 15 pixels. We want it to be bold. Go. Usually with links, I do them as like 1 EM instead. And now this button over here. Let's see. This is yellow color. So you want to grab this color here. Is it this container? This rectangle. Where am I going to grab this color from? There it is. It's one of our global style colors. And it's going to be black text. Removing this style. And removing that as well. Is it all caps? No. And changing this to yellow color. Add this as a global style, gold. There's no border radius on this button. It's got a good amount of padding on the left and right. I've always wanted to use, it's like a code feature over here. So like a width of 165 pixels and a height of 48 pixels. Okay, so we're pretty close here. So 165 pixel width, and that's centered. So we wouldn't really need this padding here on the left and right, so I'll just set it to 15 pixels, so in case we ever do need it, or maybe just like 10 pixels. And then that height is 48 pixels instead of 44. So they're going to need like 2 pixels of padding on top and bottom to center that text. Cool, now we've got that button. Within this style guide template, which Ryan built out, it has like a nice little hover effect with that drop shadow. Might end up modifying that a little bit later. We'll see. Cool, but there's like all the typography is basically already laid out. I might change this up. I don't know if we have any like inline links. I'd probably make it like that kind of gray color instead of, that's like this color right here. Yeah, it looks a little bit more on brand. So then down here we've got the color section. So we've got font color. It's like that dark, or just it's actually gonna be black instead of the 222. Set that to global. Cool. And set this to 0, 0. And this one's going to be this darker gray. Just the AC. And then the brand colors, yellow. With gold. Let's take a look back in the project here. Oh, whoa. I don't know what I just did. Okay, sorry. I'm using some keyboard shortcuts that seem to be impacting other features on my computer. Okay, but like kind of this greenish color over here. I do like using this handy dandy eyedropper tool. It's very handy to grab colors. It's brand color 2. Wait, that didn't copy over, did it? It's good when it works. Copy. Huh. Okay, well it's not pasting over, so eyedropper tool, why are you failing me? Okay, let's see this background. Let's go back to design here. Where are we getting this background color from? That's all I want to know. Background. You'd think it would be right here. I don't think it's from this image. Okay, I'm just gonna memorize. Okay, C2DFCF. C2DFCF. Cool. Now we've got that color. Boom. Saved. And is there a third color? Doesn't really look like it. I think that's it. That's just those. It's mainly black and white and then this gold color. Cool. So I will delete. I just don't want this color block or that right there. I don't want this one. Got those main colors. Cool beans. And here I already dragged in the logo image. But I dragged in some images earlier when I was like first working on this. But essentially just showing what the logo looks like on like a white background and then on the dark background. I think these are SVGs. Yeah, these are PNGs. Let's add in all those assets. So I'm literally just gonna copy all of the assets over here. Not the fonts. Deselecting some fonts. And just gonna drag those directly into my project. Oh my goodness, look at that. All of them are uploaded. So let's see, what's this SVG look like? That's a bit smaller. It's an SVG, so it'll resize nicely, which is totally fine. So I'm going to swap out this one as well. Cool. There we go. And there's a little download link here, so it's nice to just add that in. So I'll just copy this link, and paste it. So then it's easy to download the asset. I don't know if there was a form design in the original one, but these are like part of this components piece here. I love these little cards. I don't think I've ended up using them or anything, but I love that they scale just a tiny bit, I think. Hover. But now we've essentially got like the whole style guide. Looks like there's just a little bit more padding. Like it's added and a drop shadow. We've got some. Oh no. I usually don't allow this like all transitions. So I'm going to delete that. And we want to only style like specific things. So like the background or the box shadow at 200 milliseconds. And let's see, I think, yeah, padding's right here. Whoa. Was it doing that before? It must have been. It's kind of making the whole page jump. I'm probably not going to use these, so I'll just go ahead and delete it. And then when it comes to input fields, you always want to use size 16 minimum, because the native font size on phones or any kind of like mobile devices is size 16. So when you set it to size 16, then it's really easy to type, and everything should just work as expected, instead of like sometimes you might have been on a site before and it kind of zooms in. So let's test out some text here just to see what it looks like. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's looking good. But now we've got an entire style guide, so we're about ready to go on to building that first page. Woot. Cool. So I'm going to stop recording on this one, go to the next section.